everyone, and welcome back to Jewels Knits for Bamma. I'm Jules, and this is my podcast where I talk about all my knitting and crafting adventures. If you're new here, thanks for coming to check us out, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I'm sure you guys noticed I'm in a little bit of a different spot today. I've got some reorganization projects going on in my knitting room, and I thought rather than messing up my organized piles of chaos, it might just be easier to pull everything out to my living room and record from here. With that being said, this is not the most soundproof area of my house, so if you hear my children in the background or my neighbors coming in and out of the dooryard, I apologize. This is real life for me. Also, I normally try to record every 2 weeks. It's been a minute. I just had some really crazy weeks at work, and I just physically didn't have time to sit down and record. So it's been about 3 weeks, so I have a little bit more to show you guys than normal today. And I thought maybe we'd just hop right into it and go to FOs first today. My first FO is my gingerbread sweater. I finally finished it. I'm so excited. This is a pattern by Espace Tricot. It is 1x1 twisted rib, and it's a little bit cropped. And then it's got the split hem, which I absolutely love for my body type. The balloon sleeves, and I'm just in love with this, guys. I think this is the first sweater I've finished since the podcast started. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember. However, this is monumental because it is the first sweater in my almost 20 years of knitting that I've ever made for myself. I'm so excited. You might ask, why haven't you made a sweater for yourself yet, Jules? Well, I have been knitting for about 17 to 20 years, give or take. Like since I was like kindergarten age. And while I've been knitting that whole time, I didn't really pick up like, I was just a casual knitter, as in like knitting scarves, knitting hats, knitting, little cowls, blankets, that sort of thing. But I didn't really start knitting garments until I was pregnant with my daughter, and I thought, oh, I want to make her baby sweaters. And and that's really what started my garment knitting experience. And since then, I've knit so many sweaters, so many shawls, socks, like you name it. I don't think I've knit a blanket in years. I don't even remember the last time I knit a blanket. But because of that, after I had my daughter, I was a much bigger size than I was previously. And I never really felt the urge to knit something for myself because of the way I felt about the way my body looks. And I think that's something that we all kind of struggle with a little bit. And I certainly did. And so this year I just made a decision, like, I'm going to knit stuff for me. I'm tired of knitting things for other people and saying, oh, I wish I made that for myself. And I just wanted to knit something for me. So this sweater is my first sweater I've ever made for myself. I don't think there's anything wrong with knitting for other people. I still do it all the time. I just, I really thought, like, I'm a knitter. I'd love to have a wardrobe that looks like I'm a knitter. And I've just been able to kind of get over that barrier of like realizing that it doesn't matter if I'm a little bit bigger than I used to be, or a lot of bit bigger than I used to be. I can just knit something that looks good for my body type and my body size. And I am so proud of myself. Like it really is like a huge thing for me. So I'll stop rambling about that. However, I will tell you, I knit this sweater using one strand of Cloudborne Fibers Highland Superwash Sock Twist in the color Charcoal Heather, and that's the label for that. And then I also held it double with the Ella Rae Kids Sparkle, and that's the label for that. The Kids Sparkle is like a mohair acrylic blend, and the sock is 80% superwash fine Highland wool and 20% polyamide. This is what I have left over of the base color. I thought it was really beautiful. And then, guys, I'm not even kidding you, I have this much left over. Like, I think I have enough to do a sweater for my daughter. I got 2 balls of these because I had never knit a sweater with mohair, and I wasn't really sure. I also never knit a sweater for myself, so I was worried about running out of yarn, but obviously I barely dipped into this ball, so I don't know how big it's actually showing on screen, but I mean, like, this is my hand, and it's like, it's not a normal size ball. It is, actually, I can tell you because I still have the label. It was a ball of 907 yards. So that's a lot left over. I think I might try and put that into a sweater for my daughter. I do have to say the mohair blend is extremely itchy. Because it's not like a regular mohair, I was trying to be cost effective, so I got like a blend. It's a mohair acrylic, and I think it's got like some stellina in it or something to get the sparkles. I'm not sure if the sparkles are coming. Oh, there you are. Now you can see the sparkles. It doesn't bother me. It was very itchy during knitting it. However, blocking it took away a lot of the itch. It's still a little itchy, but I mean, I'm wearing this next to skin. I only have a tank top on underneath this. But again, like, I'm not extremely sensitive to things like that. It's kind of strange because I test knitted a sweater from Madeline Joy Knits last winter, right before Christmas. And that was a mohair DK, like a DK and hold mohair with it sweater. And that made me break out like crazy when I was knitting it. But for some reason, this one isn't. And I think it's just because it's like a blend. So it's only like 40% mohair or something like that. So maybe that's the difference. I'm not sure, but either way, I'm not complaining. I'm super excited about this, and I'm going to stop rambling on about it, but that's my first FO. So my next FO, and this was a acquisition for me, actually. I had ordered it before I podcast last time, but it hadn't come in. So it came in, and I knitted 2 pairs of socks out of it since the last time I podcasted. But it is Knit Pick Stroll in the colorway Palm Springs, and then I just use a white mini for the heel, and then the toes I just kept the striping going. So I made these for me, and then I had just enough to make a pair of shorties for my number 1 daughter. And I was hoping I'd have enough to make another pair of shorties for number 2 daughter because she's got tiny, tiny toddler feet, but I didn't. I think number 1 daughter, her feet are getting a little bit bigger because I used to be able to get a pair for me, a pair for her, and still have plenty left. But now it's to the point, even with using the mini for the heel, I had like a nugget, like maybe like 4 grams left of the yarn. So I'll throw that into my sea glass sweater. And these are these. The yarn label, let me see if I can find it. It's the Felici, I don't know if I said this already. Felici fingering weight yarn in the Palm Springs colorway. These come in 50-gram balls. It's a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon blend. A couple weeks ago, Knit Picks had a huge sale on their Felici yarns. So I snagged like a couple colorways of that. Okay, let's see. And then my other FO is these socks, which OMG, I love them. I think I talked about these. I think I had this as an acquisition. I'm not sure if I started it on the last podcast. But these are Granite State yarns in the colorway Bumbleberry Swirl. Yep, Bumbleberry Swirl. This is her label. she is a local to me, well, kind of local to me dyer. We're both from New Hampshire, and I love that she has the lilacs on her label. So this is a 75 superwash merino, 25 nylon, and it is 463 yards per 100 grams. If you guys haven't heard of her yet or haven't knit with her yarns, I highly suggest it. She creates the most beautiful yarns. I just love it. Every time I get something from her, I'm never disappointed. So these are another pair of socks that I finished. Okay, and then my last FO, it was a gift. I've gifted it, so I don't have it on me. However, I do have the leftovers and the label. So I knit this out of hedgehog fibers. I'll show you the label, but I'm sure just about everybody has seen it. If I can get it to focus, let's see. There it goes, hedgehog fibers. This is in their sock yarn. It is 90% merino wool, 10% nylon, and this is the colorway Iris. So this is what I have left over. I made the Musselburgh hat for my friend Corinne out of it, and I think I'm just going to throw the rest of this maybe into my sea glass sweater. Maybe it would be like some fun for a little bit of heels, toes, cuffs. I'm not really sure. But that will go into my scrap pile, and I will post a picture like right here of it. I finished it, I can't remember, like 2 days before Easter, so it's kind of an Easter themed photo. And also I just thought, like, these are such cool, fun little spring colors. So that's all I have for FOs. I will gather together my acquisitions and be back with you. Okay, so I do have quite a few acquisitions. Knit Picks had a big sale and I got some stuff then, and then also Granite State Yarn had a little bit of a deal, so I had to hop on that. But like I said, the Palm Springs that I showed the socks in were one of my acquisitions. And then I also have another acquisition from Knit Picks, which is another ball of Felici self-striping in the colorway Rustic Cabin. I seem to have lost the ball band for this, so I apologize. But this is the color, and that will pop back up later because I do have a current whip. And then another thing that I got from Felici was this static. This is just so pretty. I'm starting to collect sock yarns because it is April, and that means it's time for me to start knitting socks for Christmas because I knit everybody in my life Christmas presents instead of buying them. So this is the static. It's fingering weight. It's 437 yards per 100 grams. This is the colorway All Sorts, and it is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon blend. And I just thought it was so, guys, they had these on sale for $7. $7 for 100 grams of sock yarn. I could not believe it. So I grabbed this one, and then I got this, which is the same base in the colorway Terrarium. And of course, now that I'm going to show it, it's about to pop off of the hank, out of a hank, so I have to fix that. But this is the other color that I got in it. Yeah, I just thought like this was a good, like, gentlemanly color for the men in my life to make a pair of socks out of. I also think this would make a really, really pretty Musselburgh, but anyhow, so that was the end of my Knit Picks haul. They had some really great sales. They had all the Felicis on sale, and now I can't find them on the website, so I'm kind of thinking that means that we're going to get some new Felici colorways soon, maybe. We'll see. And then I thought I was done yarn buying, and then I was on Instagram and I saw that Lauren of Granite State Yarns had an amazing deal where it was a $25 grab bag. You got 100 gram skein of sock yarn and then two, I think 20 gram minis. Yep, 20 gram minis. And it was like a surprise. You didn't know what you got. So naturally, I had to hop on that. So this is what came. And this is, let me see if I can get it. Well, I already showed you guys her label. It's got this really beautiful, like, purple, and then the 2 minis. And I thought, oh my gosh, like they're so springy. And I'm kind of wondering if like, this is an one-of-a-kind sock set. So it doesn't have necessarily colorway. It's just a one-of-a-kind. These are 75-25 superwash nylon blend, and they're fingering weight. And when I got it, I was like, oh my god, like I got this like right before Easter, and I was like, oh my god, these are such like spring Easter colorways. I just love them together. And I had told my friend Corinne about it, so she grabbed one too, and she got one that's like an orange, and she's got like a hot pink mini. And when we went out for knit, every other week we do knit night with margaritas. Me and her go out and have a margarita and knit. And we talked about it, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna split everything in half and swap with each other and do sort of like a share a pair type thing and make something for our girls. The only thing is we don't really want to do socks out of it because there's so much yarn that, you know, making kids socks, there's going to be so much left over. So we're trying to think of a fun pattern to do. Maybe something with stripes since we're splitting and sharing. But if you guys have any pattern suggestions on what you think we might do with this, leave them in the comments below, because I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this. But I absolutely love this. I can't tell if she sent me purple by accident or if she just knows me so well from ordering so many things from her that she knows I would love the purple. So yeah, that's all I have for acquisitions. And if you give me a second, I'll grab my whips and be right back. So my first whip is this sock that I'm making. This is the Felice Rustic Cabin that I talked about in my acquisitions. So I've got this far done on it, and this is the other one that I've already finished. Absolutely love, 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 love this colorway. Like, they're just so beautiful. This is going to be a Christmas present for someone in my life. Oh, and I forgot to mention in the FO section, but I guess I can mention it now. Normally, I am a heel flap and gusset kind of girl. However, with the Felice, I don't want to interrupt the stripe pattern. And while I know how to do an afterthought heel, I've not always been the biggest fan of the fit. So for the Felice, I have been doing the, like the German short row heel, which I have done before, and actually that's the first heel that I learned how to do. I still like the fit of the heel flap and gusset the best, but these are like so much quicker. And I think maybe for Christmas socks, just because I have to knit so many of them, I might just do these because they fit fine. I just like the way the heel flap and gusset fits better. But I've made several gift knit socks with this heel, and nobody's ever complained or like said anything. So I think maybe that's what I'll do. It does kind of look wonky, like unblocked and not on a sock blocker, but like I said, like it flattens out. Like if you look at this one, it flattens out. I mean, that's the difference between a blocked and an unblocked sock. If anyone doesn't block, you know, I used to be one of those people who never blocked anything, and then one day I just decided I was going to start blocking, and it was life-changing for me. Now if I could just get on board with swatching, we'd be getting somewhere. The only time I ever really swatch is when I'm testing, because I feel like that's part of, like, you have to swatch when you're testing, right? Because you have to meet their gauge. But I digress. So that is my first whip. My second whip, you guys have not seen yet. I cast this on when I finished my gingerbread sweater. You might have seen the yarn because I started a different sweater in it and then ripped it out. I can't remember, honestly, what I showed or not, but this is it. I know it's kind of like not the best for podcasting because it's very scrunched up on the needles. And I just love this yarn. I know I showed the yarn in my acquisitions before, but it's got like those red flecks. I am making this for my husband's friend at the Beagle Club that he's a part of. Really wanted a sweater. He loves the woolly wools. So I told him months and months ago that I would make him one. So I am just now living up to my promise. I cannot for the life of me. I know the pattern I'm using is by Sam Lamb. I think it's like the Sophiasburgh sweater, I want to say. If that's not right, I'll like put it. This is weird. It's different for me than it is for you guys. I'll put it down below if that's not right, but I'm 99% sure it's like the Sophiasburgh sweater. And this is a DK weight yarn. But it's a worsted weight pattern, but this is super thick for a DK weight. I don't know if you could see that. I personally would call it a worsted weight. So I was able to knit it, and it seems like it's knitting up fine, in a worsted weight gauge. So the yarn I'm using for this is Cascade Yarns and the Eco Merino DK. It's 100% merino wool, and it is undyed. Both colors are undyed. So that is that. And doing this sweater compared to this one, like this one is just flying, because this was fingering weight with mohair, and this is like, says DK, but it's definitely worsted weight. And I started this 2 days ago, and I'm like maybe 5 rows away from splitting for the sleeves. It's going insanely fast. And I haven't even been like exclusively knitting on this either. So yeah, that's the sweater I'm making. Okay, let's see what else. And then this is my sea glass sweater, which I've currently got on stoppers because I'm using the same needle size as I am for the sweater I just showed you. I don't really think I've made all that much progress since the last time I podcasted, but I'll show you anyways. I have just kind of been working on this here and there. This is the Sea Glass sweater by Wool and Pine, and I'm using all my fingering weight sock scraps. It is a 1x1, I'll show you close up, color work sweater, and I've just been using all my sock scraps. The pattern calls for DK, but I wasn't about to change colors that much and then double strand everything. So I did a little bit of math, I guess, and some needle size changing and picking a different size in the pattern. And I tried this on the recipient at Knit Group, I think, last time, which I told you guys about, and it fit her, so I'm not worried about it. We'll see how it turns out in the end, I guess. I like to live on the edge a little bit, I guess. And then another whip that I started, I can't remember if I've shown this on a podcast or not, because I can't quite remember when I did it. But I just started like a crochet corner to corner granny stripe blanket, and this is how far I've gotten on it so far. This is the first blanket I made in a really, really long time, but right before I started the podcast, I kind of did like a de-stash and posted on my local page, my local town page, like, hey, I've got a bunch of yarn. If there's any knitters around who want some free yarn, I'm just looking to get rid of it. I don't want to throw it away. And I was able to give away a ton of yarn because I had all this acrylic yarn in my stash for so long, and I just wasn't picking it up because once I discovered wool, it was, once I moved into wool, it was just, I never wanted to touch the acrylic yarn anymore. However, I did keep some just because that's like, for me, I like to do baby stuff in it and like blankets and whatnot because it's, it's cost effective and it's easy care. So it does have its place, right? I know some people who knit exclusively with acrylic yarn. It's just based on preference. However, when I did that, I found a whole bunch of scraps. So I've just got like, I'm trying to do this so you guys can see. Whoops. I've got like a whole bucket of just leftover half balls, mini, like little balls of scraps, like even little tiny ones like this. And I really didn't want to not use it because obviously acrylic yarn isn't the most environmentally friendly, and I want to make sure it's used. So I just started this corner to corner granny stripe blanket, and I figured it can just hang out on one of the kids' beds, or whatever. I think scrappy blankets are my favorite. I think just about every blanket in my house, other than the ones I made for the girls when they were babies, are scrappy blankets. It's my favorite way to use up scraps. Although now that I have that sea glass sweater pattern, that might be rivaling the blankets for my favorite. But yeah, so that's that. And then my last whip is my Starflake by Stephen West is the designer. This is a 2-color 4-skein fingering weight shawl. The first color I'm using, ooh, that's getting really blown out. It's bright, but I don't think it's quite, that's more like it. The first color I am using is Malabrigo Sock in the colorway Fortaleza. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that. I found these on sale. Oops, it's upside down. I found these on sale at one of my local knitting shops, so I grabbed them. So it takes 2 balls of that, and then the other color. Oh wait, no. I apologize. This is not that colorway. This is the fuchsia colorway. This is the Fortaleza colorway. And oh my god, it's beautiful. I just love it. I'm kind of second guessing my color choices at this point, only because, oh no, guys, I stopped in the middle of a row. This is going to be a nightmare to try and show you. Why did you do that, Jules? Oh, why? Sorry. I'm kind of questioning my color choices at this point because it's just like they're so bright. However, I love it, and I'm just going to keep knitting it. And if it's hard to wear, it's hard to wear. I'm not sure who I'm knitting it for. If this is going to be a gift, or for me, or my daughter thought about having, like, she wanted a shawl, but then her muumuu just made her shawl. Maybe sometime I can get my mother-in-law to come on to the podcast with me sometime. We'll see. But yeah, so I'm not really sure, but I'm sorry, I'm stalling. I'm trying to fiddle around with this to see how the best I can show you. This is what I've got so far. I can't remember where I was. I try to keep a progress keeper in them wherever I was when I podcasted, but it doesn't look like I did that. So I apologize for that. I don't think I had started the brioche, or if I did, I had just barely started the brioche when the last time I podcasted. But since then, I finished the brioche. Why is that word so weird to say? I have finished the brioche section, and I have also knitted the little wedges on either side of the brioche. So I'm making progress. I'm really trying to get this done as part of the Shawl It Off knit along hosted by the boys from Needles at the Ready. But I think it ends April 30th, and I'm not quite sure. It should go faster now because I'm through the brioche, which is really what held me up for so long, but I'm not 100% sure, so we will see. But yeah, so that's my last whip. So let me pick up this kind of chaotic mess I've got going on now, and when I come back, we can talk about life stuff and spreading the fiber love. So for spreading the fiber love, I wanted to give a shout out to McKaylee of Breaking Yarns. If you haven't checked out her yarn yet, you should. It's awesome. It's all based on the TV show Breaking Bad. If you haven't seen that, where have you been? Because that show is awesome. But I just wanted to shout out her because I think she is so amazing. Not only is she like this amazing businesswoman who had this great idea and ran for it, but also she is so interactive with people. I just love it that she finds the time in her day to answer my questions on Instagram when I do little fun games on my Instagram story, or share a heart on one of my photos. I just think that's so great. And it's part of the reason why I love this knitting community is like even people that I look up to and aspire to be like can still find the time in their day to show some knitting love to me. And I think that's so important, and it's what makes the knitting community so special. And yeah, so that's my little sharing the fiber love today. And let's talk about life stuff. As far as life stuff goes, it's been a pretty crazy 3 weeks, like I said at the beginning. I was very sick for almost a week. I think I might have had the flu. It definitely wasn't the other thing that we won't talk about. But I think I might have had the flu. I'm not sure. However, it put me out of work for a couple days. And when I came back to work, there was just like a lot of stuff going on, and it was a little stressful and chaotic. And I honestly think that's why I have so many FOs, just because I was like coming home and stress knitting. I'm not sure about you guys, but I really like knitting is definitely a therapy for me. I don't want to start my day without knitting. I don't want to finish my day without knitting. And sometimes it's just like nice to, have something to focus on when you're having a rough go at it. And I don't know, I just love knitting. So work's been a little bit stressful. And just like in general, life has been crazy. It's spring now, so the kids have been outside more. I've been doing a lot of playground knitting. I like to take my girls to the playground, and I like to work on my socks while they play. And let's see, what else? Today, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning or not. We're getting a nor'easter. A nor'easter. We're getting a nor'easter today. There was talks about it possibly being snow, which I think northern New Hampshire got snow, but we have just gotten pretty much downpours and rain all day, which makes me kind of sad because anyone who knows me knows I love snow. And even though it's April, I would happily have snow on my front lawn right now. My kids are going wild upstairs playing, so if you can hear that, I'm sorry. Another thing I wanted to mention is that the Connecticut Sheep and Wool Festival is coming up on April 30th, and I'm going with my friend Corinne and my mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law. I heard about it through watching Needles at the Ready podcast, because they're fairly close, and they were gonna go, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go. I might fangirl a little bit and see if I can find them because I super want to meet them. But I just thought it would be really fun to go. So I'm going to go to that. If any of you are going, I'd love to meet up and make some new friends. So if you're going, leave me a comment or something. And also planning for Rhinebeck is in full swing at this point. I've booked my Airbnb with my husband, and my friend Corinne is going, and we've convinced Cecilia to go, which is so amazing. For years I've been trying to get my friend Cece to knit, and she always said, no, I'm not a knitter, I'm not a crafter, I'm not crafty enough for that. And I can't remember if this was before the podcast or after, because I feel like I would have mentioned it if it was after the podcast started. But at one point, she just showed up at my house with a present for me, and it was a scarf that she had knit. And I was so excited and so honored that her first thing that she knit was given to me. And I told her, I was like, do you have the knitting bug now? And she says, no, I don't have the knitting bug. And I said, are you sure about that? And she said, no, I don't have the knitting bug. And so far we've made baby hats, baby blankets. We're working on a musselburgh. So she still denies that she has the knitting bug, but like she definitely has the knitting bug. So we convinced her to go to Rhinebeck, and at first she's like, I'm not sure, because her husband is into race cars and we weren't sure if that was going to be during a racing day, and it turns out it's not. So I'm super excited to have her coming along. I think my mother-in-law might come up for the first day of Rhinebeck. I'm not sure. But like, I know it's so far away, but I can't help but be so excited for it. I'm looking so forward to going. I've wanted to go forever, and I just can't wait. So there's that. And then I can't really think of like anything in particular that's going on. I do have a little bit of a wild next month and a half. It's about to be hunting season. So turkey season here in New Hampshire is in May. It's a month long, and I always love turkey season out of all the hunting seasons because you can only hunt till noon, so my husband will be home. Anyone out there who also is a hunter's wife knows that from like the entire fall season, basically, we don't see our husbands. So turkey season isn't too bad, but I also very much appreciate my husband's hunting passion because it saves us a lot of money on meat. So there's that coming up, and it's also going to be youth weekend, and he's going to take daughter number 1 out this year, which is super exciting, and she's excited for. I have a bridal shower that I'm helping with in a couple weeks, and I'm also in a wedding in May, so that's something to look forward to. I still haven't started a gift for her because I'm not quite sure what to make. In the past, I've always crocheted blankets, but I'm not really feeling that. So if you guys have any wedding gift ideas for me that I could make for my friend and her husband for their wedding, let me know. And yeah, so that's really all I've got going on. So it was nice catching up with everyone. I'm sorry that I was a week late. I'll try to get back on the 2-week schedule here, and we will, sorry, I'm getting distracted. I shouldn't knit and podcast at the same time. I will try to get back on the 2-week schedule, and hopefully I will see you guys in 2 weeks. In the meantime, feel free to like and subscribe so that you know, if you hit the notification bell, you can see when I post. Also, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram handle is JewelsKnits. I'll put it down below. And I hope you guys have a great next 2 weeks. I hope you get all the knitting time you want and you enjoy the nice spring weather that's coming our way. Until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye!